I do want to say this. Hold on a second. Let me just go over barking. Hey! Shut up! Sorry. Sorry.
Are you saying that to me in Austin or the dogs? Just want to make sure.
Welcome to RC Underground Radio.
Yes, I realize I look like an idiot with this mustache, and I'm okay with it.
The ultimate podcast that covers everything RC.
You don't need to cut anything either. You can just call this the raw, uncut episode. We can leave it at that.
The raw. Yeah.
Are you drinking dollar store soda again? Quit spending your money on RC stuff. You can buy some name brand soda.
RC Underground Radio is your backstage pass to the RC industry. With insiders that are shaping the future of the hobby. The future of the hobby.
When we bring this guest on, I guarantee people are going to go, are you kidding me? He wrote a song.
I did.
We're going to have to end this soon, huh?
Yeah, no shit. And we're going to have to edit this.
So, here are your hosts, Dave Brinkman and Ryan Ratzloff.
All right, we want to welcome everybody back again for another week of RC Underground Radio. We got a lot for you tonight. We got a mystery co-host that we're going to introduce in a minute. And then we have our first guest of the night. So here's our mystery co-host, Austin Wentworth. Thanks for doing this with me tonight, buddy.
Hey, thanks for inviting me back. I'm glad I didn't stick my foot in my mouth the first time.
And let's bring on our special guest tonight. We got Austin Long from Fire Tower RC Raceway. Austin, number 2, thanks for joining us tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, for sure. No, this is going to be fun. So this is going to be interesting how we're going to know which Austin we're talking to, right? Again, we appreciate both you guys coming on. Ryan is out at RC Chili Bowl in Tulsa. He's trying to make us proud. He's been having a couple little difficulties here and there, but he's persevering. He's working through it. But when I chatted with him, he said, "Yeah, we're not doing great on the racetrack, but we're winning the party." So there's something to be said about that. So he's all the guys that came from Wisconsin. They're just having a great time. I guess they have a B&B like right across the street from the Expo Center. That's hot. I don't know how they nailed that one. It must have been Jason got that house put together. But yeah, they literally walk across the street and they're at the Expo Center and probably pretty much crawl back. That's what I'm assuming.
Fun on and off the track.
And they start super early in the morning. They're like out there like 7, 8 o'clock, starting practice and qualifying everything. I mean, I don't know. I probably couldn't get up right up at 7 o'clock and put an RC controller in my hand.
Yeah, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah, they put in the time, and that's what Ryan said. He goes, you're there all day, and he said, but it keeps moving along, and before you know it, you're racing again, especially when you're running 2, 3, some guys run 4 or 5 classes, I guess. So they're staying busy. They're having a lot of fun. Justin Haley is out there with them, so they've been having fun chatting with him, and he's doing really well. I know he won his qualifier, I think, earlier today. So yeah, Justin Haley is as good a RC racer as he is a cup racer. So all right, let's jump in, man. So Austin Long, tell us about the track. You have been burning up the internet from the time that you started laying down the lumber to now. Every day somebody, or including yourself, is talking about that track. So give us the lowdown on the racetrack.
All right. Well, it started off as, okay, let's build a track for 1RC cars. And the first time I seen the car, I was like, this thing is sweet. I raced dirt oval, but it's been 10 years ago. We run street stock B4 buggies. And I seen these, and I'm like, these are cool. These are really cool. Actually, I bought my first sprint car from Ron, actually. And I think Austin's got that car now. We actually talked about it this morning about me wanting it back. But and I bought it, and I had a buddy of mine. We raced together 10 years ago, and he got a sprint car. basically it was like, how are we gonna build a track? And I said, let's just lay some plywood on it down and see how it does. And I did that, and then we sealed it, just water sealed it, because I am under a shelter, and it is an old shelter, and it does have a leak or two every now and then. But we laid the plywood down, and we run on it. We said, man, these cars, they hook up pretty good on this plywood. When it was surprising, and I sealed it, and it got slow. The cars wouldn't hook up for nothing. I said, man, I done messed up. Well, I sealed it again, and then we just put the laps in, and now if you ever look at a picture of the track, there's a black groove all the way around it where it's just laid rubber. And you can really give it all it wants, and it'll hold it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you're pretty much running almost every one RC division out there, correct?
If they show up, we're gonna race them.
Now, you said you have tons of grip on that plywood. I know the first time I saw that track, and I was like, "There's no way plywood's not going to work. It's it's going to be too dusty. It's not going to work." But you figured it out. Do you guys run just dry tire, or you guys run any prep?
I'll tell you what. I have to shout him out. Scuff Racing, Steve Clark. Whenever I was playing my first race, I had it. My friend told me, he's like, "Hey, you need to reach out to some of these companies, get some donations, for the prizes to give away and stuff like that." Oh man, there ain't nobody gonna give me squat, But I reached out to him. He sent me 5 bottles, and I actually used the product, and I love the product. And the tire, it works great on the tires out here. If you use it like it's recommended to be used, it works great. But you can run a dry tire. Once that tire gets grooved in and gets scuffed up pretty good, it will. You can hook up with a dry tire just fine out here.
Yeah, we had a similar thing at the RC Underground running foam for the first time. We were all over the place, and then Stevie said, "Hey, try some Scuff Racing awesome sauce," and man, it made the difference. It really saved my track. So I owe the world to Stevie, and waiting for him to get his first win out here. He almost got it a couple weeks ago. I'm hoping it's coming soon because he's bad fast, man. He's good.
Is he local to you?
He's 3 hours away, but he
wow.
comes every time. Comes every race. Yeah, he's just a super good guy. 3 hours. Yeah. So let me ask you this, Austin. Tell us your racing background. I mean, just about everybody comes from something else and then got involved in these cars. So kind of bring us back in history. What led you here? I'd
say 12 years ago, there was a local hobby shop in the town that I was working at. Me and my dad ran a fast lube and brake repair shop. We replaced brake pads on cars, and we changed the oil, and we had a car wash. And we got come up to the car wash, and he's like, "Hey, I've got a hobby shop. We kind of selling out." And I'm like, "Well, all right, I've seen them on YouTube and everything else." And I was like, "Man, I'll see what you got." And he had a brand new 2-wheel drive Slash with the Kawasaki body on it, green and black, had a BFG wheels on it. I said, "Man, this thing is awesome," And I brought it home, and boy, I beat the crap out of that thing. There was I know y'all have heard of there was another hobby shop in Darlington, South Carolina. I'm about 30 minutes from Darlington Raceway, and I walked in his shop one day, and he had a bunch of these, and he had a short course track out back, and I took the truck out there, and I couldn't get it to do nothing. It had an XL5 in it, speed control, old Titan 12T brush motor in it, and guy's like, "You can throw that junk in the trash. Get your VXL put in there." So I was like, "Okay." So I did that, and I started racing there a good bit, and I raced there for about 2 years, and he finally shut the place down. So I sold out. I actually bought some rock crawlers, and me and a few other guys, we rock crawled. We got down to the river landing and climbed the rocks and the sand hills and stuff, and it was always fun. And eventually, I heard about a dirt oval opening about an hour away from me, and I went down there. They were running 8-scale Austin late model nitros, and them things were just nasty fast, man. They loud, man, sound like a weed eater wide open, and them boys could drive, and I'm like, I can't hang with that. But and then they started a street stock class, so I bought a B4 and put old McAllister Camaro body on it and ran some races there, and ran against some good guys. And after that, I just kind of lost it, and it got where money was a big thing. That if you didn't have the money, you weren't going to go fast, basically. So I quit with that, and this past summer, I found out of another dirt oval. They were running box stock, 2-wheel drive slashes. They run late models. They run street stock. So I went and bought a slash and put a late model body on it. One of them MR custom bodies. They were good-looking bodies. And raced it for about half the point series he had. And I seen these 1RC cars. I said, man, I got to have one. I bought it. And that's when I just strolled out the dirt oval, stuck with the 1RC, built the track, and here we are.
Man, now, have you noticed, like for myself, when I got into RC, I was doing 10 scale stuff just like you were, and then now I'll get rid of the 10 scale weekend just to go race 1RC. Are you kind of the same way now? I mean, especially owning a track?
Most definitely, because I mean, it's the smaller package. You ain't got to haul around everything that you have in the house to go race them. For the money, you can't beat it. $200, you can go racing just about on any 1RC track there is. It's a good budget car, and it's a good entry level car, and it's also good for guys who've been driving for a long time.
Yeah, I agree. I think it gives a challenge to anybody at any level, right? I mean,
yes,
guys like Matt Murphy are racing them, and he's the first to say we're racing toy cars, but the way that they're racing them at that level, they got to be competitive cars. They got to be taken seriously, or a guy like a Matt Murphy isn't going to race them, or a JB Trickle, or Austin Wentworth, right? They're not going to run that kind of car if you're not getting some competitive juices out of it, right? And Austin, I would say, you're running them in California, and you're up against some pretty lean, mean competition out there, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we sell, upgraded stuff for these cars, but I tell everybody, and you probably found the same thing, Austin, is you can go out of the box and you can be a front runner and contend. You don't have to do all the crazy stuff. They're pretty competitive.
I had a guy come out here, bought a brand new asphalt lake model, came out, pulled out the box, and just dominated, waxed our butts. I am telling you, he could drive, which he was. I ain't gonna say no names, but he was probably one of the best oval racers on the East Coast at one time, and he could get down and dirty with it for sure. And it was crazy. Come out with hard tires, didn't prep them, did not prep them, just came out and just whooped our butts.
Yeah, there's nothing makes up for talent, right?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. We talked about it. We said there's going to be some guys that will come out here and just embarrass us. That's the reason we're practicing here, because I talked to Matt before, and I told him, hey, I'm gonna get a crowd and come up there to Mooresville one weekend, and we're gonna burn the house down.
There you go. That's right. Yeah, well, I'll have to talk about that behind the scenes, and I'll just show up on that place, right? Just walk in the door and have people from the Fire and have people from the RCU and California, and just all walk in and say, here, we're here to take over, right? That'd be super.
Just a whole invasion.
Great. That would be something else for sure.
So what would we say would be the biggest difference, and maybe there isn't, from Southern style oval racing and Cali style oval racing?
I don't really think so. Racing is racing, man. I mean, I tell everybody to come out here to race. There's two things that's going to happen. You're going to wreck somebody, and you're going to break something, whether you like it or not. That's just the way it is. So, but I don't really think there's any big differences. Maybe the attitudes.
What do you say to that, Austin?
Out here, oval racing is just another fun thing that you do. I feel like on the East Coast and in the South, it's not something fun you do. It's your lifestyle. It's your heritage down there. It's crazy. And everybody that I know that goes to the East Coast to race, they come back saying it's a different level over there. So I'll tip my hat to the East Coast and say you probably have a one up on us.
I'm hoping the Foam Oval Nationals are going to be like the center point, right, in the Midwest, so we can settle this East Coast, West Coast, Midwest, right? It wouldn't be a good promoter if I didn't bring that up, right?
I love that.
Yeah, hopefully we're going to have we'll have guys coming from all over the place, and have ourselves a good 1RC show.
Well, so you just started out. What would you say was the biggest hurdle starting the track out?
Really getting the word out there. I've never been a real tech savvy person, and Facebook has been dominated for me to be able to get the word out. We're at almost 300 members of the group right now, and half of those guys I know, really. I mean, there might be people I went to school with 10 years ago, but they're interested, and they usually every time I race, somebody new shows up, and that's the way I want to keep it going. You know, I try to keep the rules as simple as possible. You know, one RC part, optional parts, or with the optional parts and everything, and just try to keep the rules as simple as possible. That way, the new guy can come out here and pull car out the box and race with us.
So, what would be some of the key areas that you're finding? Everybody, everybody has speed talent, right? So, is there any things out there that you're catching? Anything with bearings or anything like that that's going on that from a tech side? Are you pretty much seeing any innovation happening?
I do allow the ceramic bearings, RC Speed Secrets bearings. Those are really good bearings. I do allow those, and I haven't really seen anybody trying to bend the rules too much yet. But if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
That's right.
It's coming.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How about you, Austin? What do you see in the Cali area?
I think probably the biggest one is checking gears. That's a quick one that you can see. That's a way to do it. Tracks are just so dependent or, independent, right? I mean, 50% don't want ceramic bearings, 50% do. Some you can't run aftermarket bumpers. Some you can't. I saw a track near me that says you can't run adjustable radius rods. And I get trying to keep it, one RC stock, but I think also we're out there to race, like Austin just says, like we're trying to find the edge. We're doing fun stuff. And that innovation is kind of what, I love about, the big car circle track racing and these. And
right. I'm
not out there trying to cheat anybody, but I'm going to try and find, that extra half a tenth on you.
Yeah. I always say, this is the one form of racing where innovation isn't going to hurt your wallet, right? Okay. You talked about, an adjustable rod. That's what aftermarket is $6.
Yep,
right?
Exactly.
I mean, I'm sorry. One RC off the shelf is $6. That's worth experimenting with, because if it goes well, okay, it was $6. If it doesn't go well, okay, it was $6. Not saying that to some people, $6 could be a lot, and I'm not making light of that. But if you're in the hobby, there's just some money that's spent, whether it's just upkeep or if it's upgrade. You're spending some money, and I don't think there's any other form of RC where you're not really spending that much, right? And that's just the way we look at it here too. Is we kind of welcome innovation, right? As long as it's, I don't want to see it 3D printed, right? So like I bought a car, and it came with those aftermarket upper control arms. Yeah, A-arms. Took them off the car, right? Because I think we talked about this, right, Austin, a couple weeks ago. Like, great for those guys that they figured it out, and if there's clubs that allow it and they're seeing some performance out of it, not a problem. But in the spirit of one RC, we can't get too far outside the gate, right? Or it's just gonna get out of hand, and then it'll be like every other form of RC. But people say, well, you're talking to yourself in the mirror because you allow this and you allow that, but then you don't allow that. It's like, yeah, I mean, take it for what it is. Every track is gonna come up with their own rules, but I could pack up tomorrow and head over to your track, Austin, and all I got to do now, from what I'm hearing, is buy a set of bearings if I choose to, right? Like I can buy these bearings and then I could race them, or I could just say, hey, the bearings aren't going to make that big a difference, and I can stay with what I got. But I can show up tomorrow and I could race. Would you agree with that, Austin Long?
I would agree with that. Yes, 100%. I wouldn't say it's a humongous advantage to have ceramic bearings in your car. I wouldn't. That's just my opinion. It may be totally different to a different track owner or whatever. The only thing I don't really allow is the 10,000 kV motor. The track isn't so big, and you're not going to get but so much speed going in that corner.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's race line. That's the funnest part about these cars. It's like it's real racing, and yeah, talent is gonna come to the surface no matter what the rules are in the car. I kind of get a kick out sometimes because I think the factor that no one ever talks about when they're talking about, like, well, you shouldn't allow this body or aerodynamic or this or that. It's like, come on, we're running on tracks. Some of the biggest tracks we run on are 30 feet long by 16 or 18 feet wide. I mean, let's not forget about the bump factor. There's a lot of carnage that goes on. Like you said, Austin, be prepared because you're going to run into people and people are going to run into you. That's just part of it.
I agree 100%. You could tell me, I got a difference with guys. I call them practice drivers and I call them race drivers. Anybody can go out there and practice and be fast, mad fast, but whenever you get 4 or 5 other guys out there with you, it's a whole different story because they're wanting to go mad fast right there with you. And it does. I have had trouble with learning still, but putting too many cars on track at one time. 6 cars in the main is way too much for this track. And last weekend I had a lot of carnage and actually broke the controller on my asphalt late model and everything. And it's just I'm still learning, so that's all there is to that. But just trying to take the advantage away. People were cutting the corners at the track, so I had to build new basically infield walls around what I got existing, just so the lap times will be a lot smoother and even out and all that. But it's still fast. I mean, you still can run probably 2.8, 2.9 the way it is. With compared to you could cut the corner before and run a 2.2 or just blow everybody out of the water. So trying to make it a little bit fair advantage, and like I said, every week I'm doing something out here to improve the track.
So I guess one real quick question. I know you got one, Austin. I know you're dying to tee one up. I just got to ask: are you having fun being a track owner?
I've learned you can't make everybody happy. You can't make everybody happy. Mm-hmm. That's just all is to it. I got friends that come to me that are close friends with me that race with me. Hey, can we do this, and this? I'm like, no. Is it in the rules? They're like, no. I'm like, we're not going to do it. I'm not going to change the rules right in the middle of a series. So that's all I have to say about that. But
yeah, and I mean, so I guess what I want to know is, you've kind of taken this whole community by storm, right? It's a small community, but like as you've seen on Facebook, it spreads like wildfire. No pun intended on your track name. But when was the first race you had at the track? And then today, if we had a race this weekend, what's your average car count you're expecting to see?
December 9th, I had my first race. Now, granted, I have free entry, all kinds of giveaways, and I had a 150 lap dirt late model race for $100. I ended up having 18 cars at that race, split between asphalt modifieds, asphalt late models, dirt late models, 12 average. If I promote the race a month ahead of time or something like that, it would draw a bigger crowd for sure. But like I said, next race is January 20th. And I know there'll be asphalt late models, dirt late models, and asphalt modified. Now I don't know what else is going to show up. Those are my main 3 classes that everybody's wanting to run, especially them asphalt modifieds. They're crazy fast and built like tanks. But yeah, I'd love to see midgets and sprint cars on the track here soon. I actually bought a midget, and I love that thing. That thing will rip. I think dirt car was my favorite, but I think the midget might take this place.
What about the asphalt late model?
I like it. I do. But honestly, man, I got so many of them, I can't race them. I can't. I just don't want to be out there getting away.
I feel you. I'm on the same boat. I race to fill the field.
That's the life of a promoter, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's right. So I think you've put this on your website before, but tell us the legacy, the legend of how the track got its name.
Well, I live on Fire Tower Road, and everybody in this area, you say Fire Tower Road, it's a little place called Bingham, South Carolina. I mean, it's not even on the map. 14 miles from the closest gas station. And when people say Fire Tower, they think of deer hunting. Deer hunting is a big thing out here. I'm actually an avid fisherman, and fish is probably my first love. But RC is a close second for sure. But deer hunting out here is crazy, and yeah, that's how, when I say Fire Tower, everybody knows what Fire Tower is.
I know I had talked to you about this before, Austin, but I feel like your track is one of those things that you could consider yourself from a small town. Am I right?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
And here you are creating a track for 1/18 scale cars, and it's a hit. So obviously you tapped into something there that it was a need and a want.
When I built it, like I said, I'm 14 miles from the nearest gas station. I mean, it's out here in the middle of nowhere. I'm surrounded by woods, and there's a lot of farmland. And I told my buddy, I'm like, man, people ain't gonna come out here to this thing. And he's like, man, you're in the middle of everything. And I said, what do you mean by that? He said, you'll figure it out. And I thought about it, man. I'm an hour from Myrtle Beach. I am an hour south of Fayetteville, North Carolina. 2 hours east of Charlotte, North Carolina. Hour and a half from Columbia, South Carolina. And a lot of my drivers come from the Darlington, Florence, South Carolina area, which is probably 30, 40 miles south from here. And I have a lot of guys come from toward the beach. So I'm right in the middle of everything, really, and it just worked out that way.
That's crazy. And now, didn't I see that there's a second track that's opened up near you? So clearly, you sparked a fire with somebody else that wanted to start one too. I was
originally the first track within 100 miles here. I do have a buddy. He's over in town. He opened one up, and they are getting a good start going there running foam squares. And hey, I'm happy for them. I'm happy for them. I support them any way I can. They come here. They race the other weekend. They actually do. The guy that's got the track, he won asphalt modified, and I'll support them any way I can for sure.
And I'd love to hear that. We're doing the same thing here. There's a track that's recently opened in the kind of close to the Madison area. It's called 608 RC Speedway. They actually have run RC cars before. And then now the new promoter is into 1RC, so he's bringing 1RC in, and he reached out to me, and I'm like, this is perfect. We want our drivers to go there, and we want his drivers to come here, and there's no reason that shouldn't work out. We shouldn't compete with each other. We should work together. I already established I have Saturdays. Sundays work better for him. I'm like, this is going to be awesome for guys, right? I mean, I'm looking forward to it because I can go somewhere and fully race, right? I can just go and be a racer for the day. So, and I got a car coming from 1RC garage, so I know it's going to be a monster. So, I'm going to go on Sundays and have a really, really great time. So, I'm super excited. And I'm really glad to hear that you're doing the same thing, working with another track, because that's the thing. I mean, it shouldn't be competitive at the track owner level. It should be all the drivers coming and being competitive because they're having a good time.
Exactly, man. He's actually talking about running on like a weeknight club race, and I race on Saturdays. I haven't had a point series set up, and I don't have a club race set up. When I run, I try to at least race once a month, just to have a sort of a kind of a big race, to get to draw people in. Just have one big race a month for right now, just to draw people in. Yeah,
we're hoping too, we'll see how this thing goes and grows. Have some cross-state rivalry race, something like that, where you got to race there. You got to race by us on Saturday and then you got to race there on Sunday, accumulative points kind of thing. I think that'd be super fun, and, maybe something you guys could do as well there. So, Austin, you got any closing questions for our guest?
I know you're fresh into it. I mean, December 9th, your first race. That's amazing. You guys have just taken off. What do you think in your foreseeable, next 6 months? What's the future of your track? What are you planning?
My final race of my winter series, April 17th, I think. And actually, Darlington Raceway weekend in May, we're going to have a big race. So I'm not going to say much more about it right now till it gets a little bit closer. But it's going to be a good time, and I'm thinking it might go around. It may be a 2-day race. If I can get the crowd here, if I can get the crowd to show up, it'll definitely be a 2-dayer.
Stay tuned.
So I do want to say this. I've been in a lot of RC communities, but I've never had one open their arms as much as one RC has. Mr. Ron Peacock, y'all know, and like I've heard all y'all say it a bunch of times. When you talk to him, you feel like you need to go. You feel like you need to be a better person. He's a great guy, and I've never met the guy. I talked to him through FaceTime a couple times, and I love that man to death. Ain't that crazy? Charlie down there in Florida at Digital Fabrication, man, he has really helped us out. You know, if I break a bumper, send him a picture. It might make him a little ill, but he'll send me more bumpers, and then you ask him what I owe you. Well, this one's on me. Don't worry about it. So everybody has been very welcoming with open arms, and I really appreciate that, and I really appreciate this opportunity to talk with y'all tonight.
It was our honor to have you on. I mean, like Austin brought up, you guys have been lighting the internet on fire in 1RC, and it's because you're putting in the work, right? You're putting in the work. You're opening your arms to your drivers and to the 1RC community, and we just applaud everything you're doing. And it was so interesting to have you on the show and kind of bring us a little more in depth. And after talking to you, I'm sure you agree, Austin, after talking to him, now we know why he's successful, right?
Oh,
I mean, there's no doubt.
Absolutely.
And you're going to, sky's the limit. I mean, next time you'll be talking, you'll be like, I got 100 guys here and I don't know how to handle all this, because everybody's is going to come there. So tell people where they can find out more, because they might be only hearing about you for the first time and they would love to come to your track. So how do they find out more information, and where can they reach you?
You can find us on Facebook. We have a group, Fire Tower RC Raceway. Find us on Facebook. Message me personally on Facebook if you have any kind of question about the track. My guys here are willing to help anybody with anything. Can I add one more thing?
Absolutely, my friend.
Okay, man. It is crazy how this man, Mr. Wentworth, sitting in California, heard about a plywood 1RC track across the country. And a guy asked me what I call it, and I think I'm going to start calling it the plywood paperclip. How's that sound to y'all?
I like it. It
sounds like a title of a race right there.
That sounds like a T-shirt.
Yeah, definitely. That'll look good on a T-shirt. I might do that, and I'll be sure to send both of y'all one. How about that?
I'm in. I'll wear it. I'll wear it on the air.
Proudly.
Again, we can't thank you enough for joining us tonight. Continued success with your track. All you got to do is be on the internet every day, and you're going to hear something about the track. So you guys are doing a great job promoting that track. And yeah, we just wish you the best. So thanks again, and we hope to have you on the show again real soon. We bring on the race winners, and this guy keeps winning races, so we got to keep having him on. George Murray. George, thanks for joining us again.
Hey guys, good to be with you again.
Austin, I'm going to let you start out with the questions because I kind of hogged them all in the last one.
Man, the Milwaukee Missile, I've heard, huh?
Yeah, and he comes from Illinois to race with us.
That's right. I mean, Northern Illinois. It's not too far, so. But yeah.
Wow. Now you won their first road course race, I heard.
Yeah, last race, Holiday Havoc. Dave set up a nice road course around the oval there. So. It was pretty much all left turns, one right turn, and yeah, it was a really nice little road course. I think it worked out really nicely, and it was fun. Our lap times were a lot. We had a lot more time during a lap to concentrate and focus and just kind of even relax a little bit. We're used to 2.6, 2.7 lap, 2.6 or 7 seconds per lap on the oval, and I think our lap times are around 5 seconds, maybe on the road course.
About 4.8s, 4.9s.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was. I mean, it was just it was a surreal experience a little bit because I really wasn't expecting to do that well, honestly. I wasn't thinking it's something that, I've got this in the bag or anything. I was like, oh man, road course, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I'm thinking, it's, if it's just going to be one right turn, maybe I'll just keep the oval set up on it pretty much. And, just go with that. So I kind of did, and it really worked out really well.
He's definitely being humble, Austin, because he says, "Oh, I didn't know what I was going to do." Yeah, he was on the top of everybody's list of and it pretty much played out what we thought. He said, "Hey, I think it's going to come down to everybody says it's going to come down to the George and Steve show." George has run promoted a road course series way back in the day when we ran 12 scale stuff. And then Steve actually has a road course for mini Z's in his basement. So we knew, okay, these guys of the rest of us oval nerds, and George is an oval nerd. That's in his heart. I know. But, we're going to need GPS to get around this thing. And these guys are going to be, a rocking. And they were. The feature, 100 lap race, came down to 1.4 second was the difference between first and second at the end. The last 25 laps were just amazing. I mean, these guys just ran each other clean, sportsmanship, and that's what was cool. Both these guys are known for that. And to then see them battle it out on a racetrack, it was something.
George, what's your secret? What are you doing?
It's actually no secret. I make no bones about it. I stole Matt Murphy's setup that he published last season, and I said, okay, let's try it. And it's been, I wouldn't say magical. Well, yeah, magical. It's been magical. It's been, compared to the stock setup that comes on the car and some other setups that, we maybe have, tried or, have worked on different kinds of cars over the years. That Matt Murphy setup, the car is just so easy to drive. It's very predictable. It'll go where you point it. It reacts how you expect it to, And when you're turning 2.5 second laps, that's crucial. That really is important. So, just having that as a starting point and maybe tweaking that a little bit to suit, your driving style a little bit or the track conditions. It's just been night and day.
Wow. Now, you said you didn't have to switch it too much going to a road course. I mean, I know how to get these things to turn left, but did you really not switch anything for the track or the race, or do you have to, make some adjustments on the front end? Or
So yeah, what I changed was definitely more dual rate in the steering because you had tighter that right hand turn on the infield was really tight. So I think I bumped it up to like 80% on the dual rate, and I actually raised up the car a little bit. So on my car, I run the stock shocks, not the threaded ones, not the upgrade ones. So in the stock shocks, you have like the spacers for either 1 millimeter, 2 millimeter, or you can combine them and do 3 millimeter. And I started off with 1 millimeter, just like I do on the oval, and I realized no, that's too low. It's kind of just digging into the surface and the plow discs on the turns and stuff. So I raised it up to 2 millimeter. What else did I do? Oh, I upped the drag brake to. I usually run about 20% drag brake on the oval, and I bumped that up to I think 60%. I'm not sure exactly, but it's in it's in the setup sheet that I posted. So that's I think that's pretty much it.
If you can win 3 in a row, it's going to be impressive at this next event because man, they're coming out of the woodwork, buddy. This last 2 weeks, I've probably I can't think really quick how many more drivers, but it's going to be the biggest field that we've ever had. So
cool.
It's a underground invasion. It's kind of got like an alien UFO kind of theme going on, and you know what goes on at the underground, George. So there'll be some crazy things to talk about after.
All sorts of crazy things. Yeah, we're not. We can't even begin to imagine what's going to happen. Whatever we're imagining, it's probably like, even more out there.
On your typical oval races, George, are you usually contending for wins on the oval, or is the road course kind of where you came alive?
Well, I won the other race I won. It was an oval. That was actually the first race I was actually really as competitive as as I was. That was the first time I adopted Matt's setup, actually. I think last year I maybe came in second or third, or maybe I won a heat race or two.
Mm-hmm.
But I was never happy with like how the car handled and how I was able to drive it. But I'm an old hat at Oval. I've run basically every race series that Dave's put on. I've run, and they've all been Oval. So, it's been going good so far this year, and I hope to keep it up.
I somehow keep talking him into it. I took him from 12th scale and dragged him into 10th scale and dragged him into 18th scale, and he just keeps signing up for all my craziness. So I can't thank George enough for that. So speaking of that, great segue to this thing is I'm all about these asphalt late model cars. I just have fallen in love with these things. I love the way they handle. I love how they go, to the point that you can buy them new or you can buy conversion. So I put together another asphalt late model car. I've got it running. That's what I love about these cars. You just build them and you throw them down, and they're like 80, 85, 90%, right? But I'm no idiot. I want the car to run better, so I got to go out. I can't run two cars at one time, so I need a great driver to jump in an asphalt late model car. And of course, I had to reach out to the two-time winner at the RC Underground. So George Murray is going to jump in the number 66 car. And it means a great deal to both of us because that number 66 goes back to George's cousin, Mickey Svirchev, who used to race with us. We lost Mickey several years back, but boy, we never forget him, and we never forget his spirit and how hard he raced. And he lived in Texas for a while, and he actually would come out and race with us. So I thought, I'm building this car, and I'm like, I got to give it a number. And it took me a hot second. I don't know if it was Mickey putting it in my ear, but I'm like, 66. We're going to put a 66 on this car. So I sent him a video and I said, hey, with just all he could see was the front end of the car. And I said, I got this car. And once I lettered it, there's only one guy that can drive it. And then I rolled it forward so he could see the number. And he kindly agreed. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see these 8 asphalt late models build. So now we got enough cars to have a class. George will be in there. I'll be in there. Ryan's going to be in there. And I think we'll have a couple other surprise drivers showing up. So I appreciate you, George, for your willingness to jump in that car.
Oh, yeah. I appreciate you with the gesture. The 66, like you said, does mean a lot. If it weren't for Mickey, I wouldn't be racing because he's the one that, got started with you way back, all those years ago. And he recruited his little brother and me to join him and come racing. So that's how we got started. So, and he's always been, while he was still around, he was always part of our racing adventures, wherever we went. So it's really an honor to be able to run the number that he ran and with the asphalt late model. I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, I owe a lot to Mickey too, and I don't know if I've ever even told you this story, George. But I was going through some college, and I was working downtown Chicago, and things were getting a little busy. And I thought, you know what? Maybe I'm done with this RC racing stuff, And I was working at a law firm, just as a law running around. And out of the blue, Mickey calls me at work. I don't know how he got the number. The receptionist is like, I got this guy on the phone for you, and it's Mickey. And he goes, hey, are you still racing RC cars? And I didn't have the heart at the time to say, well, I'm not going to do it anymore. We're going to shut down the series. He goes, yeah, because I got myself and I got George and I got, Bato's going to run. And I thought, oh, these 3 guys just bought cars. How do I say, oh, sorry, we're not doing it anymore? I'm like, yeah, let's go. Yeah, let's. And it was sometime in the winter because we were going to go see the Chicago Car Show, and I said, yeah, come May, we'll be racing. We'll look forward to you guys. And I went home that night and I said, well, guess what, Dad? Don't put the gear up. Don't sell all your stuff because we're going to go racing again this summer. I owe it to these guys to keep this series going. And so Storm Racing was born, and what did we do it, George? 12 years, 13 years we raced those cars that way, and so.
Wow.
So yeah, you're right. We owe a lot to Mickey, so I appreciate it.
Don't beat me, man. Just don't beat me.
I've never run one of those things before. I don't know what you're talking about. So.
You are gonna love it. How about it, Austin? Is he gonna love that car?
They're awesome, but they also don't handle the same. I mean, like the setup, you can set up from one to the next, and the body is just weighs differently, and the way it goes over the wheels, it'll be totally different. But you can door bang, you can hit the wall a little bit. They're a fun car.
Looking forward to it. Yeah, I've seen the video. You know, Dave running his car, you know, around the track in the basement there, and it looked just really hooked up. So I'm kind of looking forward to it. Absolutely.
So I mean, you kind of alluded to it, and I'm new, you know, to the whole crew over here that races at the Underground. But what is your background in oval racing? Did you race yourself, or just kind of rent, or what'd you do?
Nothing like full scale racing, if that's what you're asking, but just RC.
Okay.
Pretty much started like we were talking about back in I want to say 1985 with Dave and RC racing on Alley View Speedway in this driveway back there in Franklin Park, Illinois, and just pretty much on and off over the years. You know, we'd go like 5, 6, 7, 8, even 10 years, and then like something would happen in life. You know, life would happen, right? And we'd have to take a few years off, and then we'd come back and do it again for a few more years. And we were, you know, in the meantime, I started racing other places too. Like, you know, there were quite a few different oval tracks in like Wisconsin, and even Illinois, you know, indoor carpet, that sort of thing, and always oval. So. You know, it got to a point though where with life, you know, I just didn't have time to put into it. So, but now that, you know, again, we're getting a little older, so life changes again, right? You know, kids grow up and, you know, go and, you know, you have a little more time and, oh yeah, maybe this would be fun. And especially these, I really like these one RC cars, just because they're so, you know, economical compared to like the 10 scale pan cars that we used to run. You know, the costs are much less. You can have a track in your basement. You don't have to worry about like, you know, the local track, you know, going out of business if not enough guys show up or something. Everything's just less money. And I like the fact that you can practice somewhere if you really want to. So it's just a win-win all around, I think.
Just a little update. You know, we did the launch. We did the merch launch. As we say, it's merch with a mission, trying to helping some kid racers, helping tracks, however we can. All the proceeds go back to help the hobby. And we can say that we have had a fantastic launch. I mean, beyond anybody's expectations. So we want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts to those people who have already ordered. If you're thinking about ordering, Carpies is printing this stuff as fast as they can. I went through the whole process. The ordering process was great. And now I just got my confirmation of it being shipped. Probably receive it here in the next couple of days. So less than 10 days from order to delivery. Not even. I think it's like 8 days it'll be. So everything's working out smooth. Cannot thank our partners at Carpies enough. Still just on cloud nine that they accepted to come on as a partner of the show, and then also involved in our merch with a mission program. So again, shout out to Carpies. Thank you guys so much. Again, Austin, George, and Austin Long, thanks for giving us a great show tonight. And we will talk to you next week.
Thank you for listening to the RC Underground Radio Podcast. Be sure to like, subscribe, and tell your fellow racers about the show. Tune in again next week for more RC content.